Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for attending my very first Office Ergonomics webinar. My name is Catherine, and I am one of the wellness interns here. So I'm just going to share my screen and we'll jump right into the presentation. Okay. So in this presentation, we will just be discussing what ergonomics is, the definition of musculoskeletal pain, also known as MS pain, how it can lead to trouble in the office, ergonomic methods and tactics, potential solutions, daily applications, also meaning different stretches and exercises, as well as when to consult a professional about your pain. And so before I move on, I would just like to mention that I am in no way a doctor, so please take the information in this webinar with caution. So the first question I would like to ask everyone is, what is ergonomics? What is your definition of ergonomics and what comes to mind when you think of ergonomics? So can anyone answer in the chat? Nice. Okay, great. So those are all fantastic answers. So by definition, ergonomics is the study of people's efficiency in their work environment. So in an office setting, an ergonomic environment provides safety and efficiency for its workers. So repetitive stress on the body in a non-ergonomic environment can pose hazards to employees and can cause musculoskeletal pain, such as carpal tunnel syndrome. So in the last slide, I mentioned the term musculoskeletal pain. And so to be brief, MS pain is pain that is described as acute or chronic. It can affect bones, muscles, ligaments, tendons, and even nerves. And so like most types of aches and pains, it can develop over time or it can occur immediately due to overload. In order to prevent it further, we have to look at the cause of it. Okay, so typically an injury is the most common cause of musculoskeletal pain. However, other causes include arthritis, poor posture, overuse, and referred pain that's radiated from another area. If your muscles feel like they've been pulled, overworked, or you experience body aches all over, then this could be a sign of musculoskeletal pain. Additionally, feelings of fatigue or disruption in normal sleep patterns are all symptoms of this type of pain as well. So can anyone give me an example of musculoskeletal pain? If so, can you please write it in the chat? Okay, so those are all great answers. Yeah, different types of arthritis, anything with bones like fractures. You've also got, chronic low back pain. Very good, very good. But the real question is, how does this affect you while you're working, right? So if you could just take a moment to reflect on what you see on the screen and see if you have felt any of these symptoms. So maybe, for example, maybe the pain in your back has become so bad that it's caused you to lose focus on a major project, thus decreasing your productivity levels. Or maybe your headaches have gotten so intense that you just want to get everything done as quickly as possible, which causes your work quality to go down. So these are just some of the ways that MS pain can hinder your work performance in the workplace. But don't worry, because there are multiple methods and tactics you can implement now to make your work environment more ergonomic. So as we go through, just think about your current posture and your current workstation. So let's start with your computer monitor. So referring to the left image, your monitor should be positioned so that the top of the screen is at eye level and approximately 50 to 100 centimeters away from you. So this is roughly an arm's length away. You can see on the screen that the woman is exemplifying this distance while sitting and while standing. In the pre-survey, a majority of you mentioned wanting or having an adjustable desk. I think it's important to note that adjustable desks only help if you have correct standing posture. So when adjusting the height of your desk for sitting or standing, make sure that the surface of the desk is at level with or slightly below your elbows. And when standing, be sure to have correct posture by keeping the joints of your body in alignment as seen in the image on the right. When standing, try not to overextend your pelvis. I've noticed this is quite common in myself as well as other people. So if you prefer to stand, make sure you do not stand for longer than an hour at a time. And for maximum comfort, do consider wearing comfortable shoes or using a standing mat. So type in the chat here if you experience wrist pain or use a mouse pad or keyboard cushion for your wrists. Okay, so a couple of you, quite a few. Well, after going through the survey responses, I saw quite a few mentions of wrist pain. And so this is most likely due to the positioning of your wrists when typing or using your mouse. On the screen, the leftmost images show the correct and incorrect wrist and hand positions while using a keyboard. As you can see, there should be a small space between your wrist and the edge of your desk. Your wrist and hands should be straight and not bent or curved. Having a keyboard and mouse pad with a wrist rest can help with this. The top right image demonstrates the proper chair height for an individual. So following the image, if you place your knees at the height of the chair and sit down, your feet should be rested comfortably on the floor, and your knees should be at about a 90-degree angle. Additionally, the back of the chair should be supporting back in an upright position, as you can see. And so now referencing the bottommost image on the right, you can see the proper footrest angle. And so there are different types of footrests, but of the two shown, you can see that your legs should be at an angle of 90 to 110 degrees. The footrest itself should be high enough for your feet to rest casually on it. Your legs shouldn't be too high. Instead, they should be slightly in front of you and downward. We already talked about some solutions and alterations you can make to your work environment, but here are some physical tools you can use to gain relief. If you have pain in your head, you may need to use a computer stand if your monitor cannot be raised or if you are too tall. So if needed, using a stack of books can be a good alternative to this. For your neck, a potential solution could be using a neck massager or a heating pad. You can also check out some stretching methods that will be in your digital packet that we'll send out after this webinar. Similar to the neck, an electric shoulder heating pad or massager would be a good for mitigating shoulder pain. Now, raise your hand in the chat if you have an achy back. I would expect all of us, right? So, but you're in luck because your achy back could be soothed by lumbar support pillows, a posture corrector, a back brace, or an ergonomically certified chair. So usually if you have an achy back, you also have achy hips, right? So for your hips, a posture correction cushion or coccyx orthopedic seat cushion might provide you with some much needed relief and comfort. A lot of office workers have wrist problems, as we touched on earlier. So having an ergonomic mouse or mouse pad cushion might be helpful in alleviating some of that tension and pain that you might be experiencing. Now, I will say that not all of these solutions will help everyone. However, it may be wise to ask your healthcare provider what would be best for you specifically. So physical tools can do wonders in relieving pain. However, sometimes the best solution is to do stretching exercises to gain relief over time. So I wanted to take a moment to discuss some stretches and exercises you can do daily for pain relief, since it often helps more than using certain products. In the digital packet we will send out to you after this webinar, you will find some exercises you can do at home. The purpose of having these exercises in the packet is to provide you with an easy 5-minute routine to help you after this presentation. In your packet, you will see these exercises are mainly for the neck, hip, and back, since problems with these body parts seem to be the most prevalent. But instead of putting everything in the packet, I wanted to do some of the stretches with you. So if you're able to, join me in doing some of these stretches found in the images displayed. So let me just take a moment to turn on my camera here, and we can do it all together. Okay. So the first one that we're going to do are arm circles. So you can stand or sit for this one, but either way, you can make your circles on the medium to large side. So this is medium, and this is a little bit larger. And this is depending on your pain or your comfort level that you can experience. So we're gonna go ahead and do front arm circles for 10 seconds and then backwards arm circles for 10 seconds. So please join me in 3, 2, 1. And then going backwards. Okay, and then same with the shoulder rolls here that you see displayed on the screen. So you want to roll your shoulders forwards and backwards, making sure that your back is in alignment and is straight. And then when you're doing these exercises, try not to go too fast or too slow, just because you don't want to, hurt yourself and you want to get the most benefit. So we can go ahead and do these for 10 seconds, starting with the forward rolls right about now. And then backwards. Okay, so now that we've loosened that up, we can go ahead and start with the cross-body arm stretch. And so this particular stretch is really good for stretching out those tight rotator cuff muscles that are found like the rear shoulder muscles. So for 10 seconds each, we can go ahead. So if you cross your right arm over your chest and then kind of hold it in place with your left arm, making sure to get that good stretch for 10 seconds here. Okay, and then shake it out, and then bring your left arm over your chest and have your right arm kind of hold it in place. Go ahead and stretch for 10 seconds here. Okay, good. And so the last one that we're going to do for this slide is the cow face arm stretch. So if you can't get it all the way, that's totally fine. I would say just do as much as you can without straining yourself too hard. So next time, when you do this on your own time, you can use like a towel, you can hold a towel to kind of assist you with that stretch. Okay, so you're not overextending yourself, but you're still getting the stretch. So we're going to go ahead, raise your right arm over and bend it back, and then have your left arm come back, and then just try to reach and touch your fingers. If not, that's okay. Just make sure you get a slight stretch and hold that for roughly 10 seconds here. And then slowly get out of it and then switch positions. So your left arm is going to be on top, and your right arm is going to be in the back. And hold it here. And then slowly get out of it as well. And so for any type of stretch or exercise for pain, just make sure that you are being gentle and that you're going slow in and out of the stretch or exercise. Otherwise, you might hurt yourself, as I mentioned before. And for all of these stretches, you can do them throughout the day as needed. For each of the stretches on the left side of the screen, 4 times for 15 seconds each, front and back is optimal. And then for those on the right side, 10 seconds each, twice is good, for those types of stretches. And so lastly, don't forget to take breaks in between each stretch because you don't want to overextend or overexert those muscles. So there are different types of headaches, but the most common are tension and migraine headaches. So to alleviate a tension headache, you have a few options. So one is to do a chin tuck stretch, which can be seen in the top left image by the woman. We can do this now. So if you touch your chin and press it in for 5 seconds here, and then extend it out for 5 seconds. And again, you'll see here. You can repeat these 4 times during the day. And so you may not feel much of a difference at first, but this exercise actually strengthens the deep cervical flexors here and the lower cervical extensors and other muscles that keep the head pulled back and in good posture. So this is really good, if you're constantly looking at a computer monitor. And another stretch is the lateral flexion stretch, which can be seen by the person sitting with their back towards us. So we can go ahead and do this one as well. So if you just point your head down and then use your left hand to grab the side of your head lightly, and then just lightly pull down and then to the left side. You can feel that stretch. You can also drop your right shoulder for an added effect. And where the red line is on the person, that's where you should be feeling that stretch. So we'll go ahead and do this for about 30 seconds here. Again, just gently pulling or resting your hand for the stretch. And then slowly bringing your head back up. And then we're going to do the other side. So again, your head is going to be pointed down, and your right arm this time is going to be holding your head in place, slightly pulling it, slightly resting. And for an added effect, you can drop your left shoulder to get that stretch. And then so on the right, or the red on the image, that's where you should be feeling that stretch, but on the other side. So we'll go ahead and do this for 30 seconds here. And then slowly bringing it back up. Okay, so hopefully that felt pretty good. And so a nice quick exercise for tension and migraine headaches is a simple temple massage with peppermint oil, actually. So peppermint oil contains menthol, which is thought to relax the muscles and ease pain. And so peppermint oil can be slightly strong, so if you need to, you can take a few drops and then dilute it with coconut oil or a different kind of oil that you prefer. And so whether you choose to dilute it or not, massaging the temples, which are right here on the side of your head, kind of a little above your eyes, in just a circular motion for roughly 10 seconds, massaging it lightly, should relieve at least some pain or some tension that you might be feeling. And so for both a migraine and a regular headache, acupressure points on different parts of the body may help in relieving pain and tension, as shown in the bottom image here. So typically people contract wrist pain over time from typing or holding their mouse a certain way. And so to help with this, try any of the stretches in the image on the left. For all of the stretches, you have the option to either hold the stretch position for 15 to 20 seconds up to 4 times, or hold the stretch for 5 to 10 seconds around 10 times. So we can try one now. So you can choose any one that you prefer, but I'll personally be doing the wrist curl and the tilt back stretch. So just follow me. So for 10 seconds, we're gonna hold it here. The wrist curl. And then for 10 seconds, we're gonna tilt it back. And we can do this again. And another time. And of course, again, you would be alternating your wrists, your hands. So you would do the first set on the right hand and then the second set on the left hand, just so you don't overextend everything, you overuse everything. And so for the sake of time, you can keep going, but I'll only be doing it just these 4 times. And so lastly, it is important to understand when to contact a professional about your pain and which professional to contact. And so typically people will visit an orthopedist or an orthopedic doctor since they specialize in the MS system. They can treat and advise you on your injury or the pain that you experience through rehabilitation or medication. Visiting a physical therapist is also a common option. Although they are doctors, they cannot prescribe medication. So instead, they manage pain and improve your ability to move through different activities, exercises, and stretches. An acupuncturist is more of an alternative option. Acupuncture involves the insertion of very thin needles through your skin at strategic points of your body. So you would typically go to one for short-term relief from chronic pain. So although everyone's experience is different, it's been found that this tends to have a moderate to mild effect on pain and is more of a short-term solution. A pain management specialist is a doctor that specializes in evaluating, diagnosing, treating, and preventing many different types of pain. So if you find that you typically struggle to perform day-to-day movements, having persistent pain with a specific motion, pain extending to other areas, strange sensations, or difficulty sleeping, then seeing a pain management specialist might be the best option for you. And that concludes this webinar. So thank you so much, everyone, for your undivided attention. I hope some of this information has helped you, even if a little bit. I am by no means an expert, but if you have any questions after this, please don't hesitate to email me later. If not, then I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.